Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Guys, today in my lecture, I'm going to explain about the domain of a square root function. But the square root has a quadratic equations. This is very complicated questions. 90% students get confused to solve such type of questions, but I want to tell you the short trick, as I promise you that my strategy will be unique. I'm not going to tell you anything using inequality, right? So that the student will see the questions and will tell the answer in 5 seconds. Okay, so what we did, we make 5 or 6 lecture based on that. The purpose is the same, means find the domain of square root function, but the square root has quadratic equation. In my previous lecture it was square root has a linear equation, and we made two types, type A and type B. Today in my lecture we have A, B, C, D, E, 5 types. Okay, so I'm going to explain right now that if you have the question is find the domain this is the question, find the domain, but what type? The type is you can say A type, right? Means y is equal to square root, and here I am going to write down ax square plus bx plus c. You know, this is a quadratic equation. It is a quadratic equation, and remember one thing here, this A, this is very important. Type A means this A, the coefficient of x square, A is greater than 0. It means the coefficient of x square must be positive. This we have kept such type of quadratic equations as a type A, right? So whenever you have an equation like this, what you have to do it, and how will you solve the question, how will you solve the domain, right? So I can give you one example, like Ax stand for example, y is equal to x square plus 5x plus c, where you can say this is a quadratic equation, where you can say where A, this is 1, right? We can say where 1 is greater than 0. So this means we are talking about type A. This is type A, right? Okay. So in such type of question, whenever you see this is A is greater than 0, my dear, you know this is a quadratic equation. X square plus bx, my quadratic equation is this one, right? This is your quadratic equation, right? I'm going to write down here ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation, right? Ax square plus bx plus c. Don't write 0, it doesn't matter. Okay, x plus by plus c, and here you know we can find the discriminant. This you have already studied in quadratic equation, discriminant. CRIMINANT, discriminant, which is equal to b square minus 4ac. Okay, discriminant is equal to b square minus 4ac. B is this one, 4 is the number, a is this one, and c is this one, right? So discriminant b square minus 4ac and this one, this discriminant, I'm going to write down d for discriminant. D must be greater than 0. This is also a type 1, right? You can say ax square plus bx plus c, where a is greater than 0, number 1, and the discriminant must be 0. Discriminant is always greater than 0, not equal to 0, right? So whenever you see the value of d is greater than 0, it means you have to understand such questions comes under the category of type A. And we will tell you how to solve this question, right? This is very important. D is greater than 0. So whenever you have any quadratic equation inside the square root and the discriminant is greater than 0, then what you have to do, discriminant is 0 means if you have a quadratic equation, right? So the curve, parabolic curve, always cut to the x-axis at 2 points. Do you know this point here? At this point and this point. 100% this will cut. Okay? This is point A and this is point B. And then we know that we are going to find domain. So this means this directions, this is very smooth. We are going this direction, means this stands for the positive infinity and this is what? The minus infinity, right? Means we can say one graph is goes this side and one is going from this side, right? Always remember this thing, and you have to find two intersection, two x intercept. Okay, so we can just find this portion and this portion, that will be the domain. So remember one thing, when the value of d is greater than 0, we can find 2x intercept. Okay, we will find 2x intercept. Once you got 2 intercept, it's so easy to find the domain. How? I'm going to explain you. See, I'm going to give you an example. What you have to do here, for example, this one I'm going to explain. Question 1, right? Question 1. Question 1, the same as fx is equal to under root x square per 5x plus 6, right? And this is what? The value of the a is greater than 0, means you can say here is 1. And if you find b square minus 4ac, you will find always b square minus 4ac, just check it. So you can find 5 square minus 4 into 1 into 6, 5 5 25, 4 6 24, this is what? 1. So you can say d is greater than 0, right? Because 1 is greater than 0. 1 is greater than 0. So what you have to do, whenever you have a quadratic equation and you can find the value of d, value of the discriminant is greater than 0, then it must have two linear factors. Remember one thing, you just write down this one, right? You can write down this x square means x plus 2 and x plus 3. When you multiply x plus 2, x plus 3, this is how to solve this quadratic equation in two different linear factors. Okay, so when you multiply this one, x multiplied by x square, 3x plus 2x, 5x, 2, 3, 6. You have these two, right? And then you can find the zeros here. Just find out once you have the two linear factors. Okay, and it is so easy because the quadratic equations has factorization, right? So if easily you are going to factorize this one, you just factorize in two different linear factors. And you can find the 0. This is factors, right? You can say this is linear factors. So linear factors. But we have to find zeros. So how will you find the zeros? So just take the opposite of this one, because x is equal to what? Minus 2, and this is what? X to minus 3. How? You can say here x plus 2. This is linear factor which is equal to 0. So x is equal to what? Minus 2. This is root, or you can say 0. Okay, in the same way, x plus 3 is equal to 0, so x is equal to what? Minus 3, right? Here we have two zeros. Then what you have to do, draw a real line. Real line, okay? We know this one. This is minus infinity, this is positive infinity. Now, Where is minus 2 here? This is minus 2 here. Where is minus 3 here? This is minus 3 here. Okay. After then, what you have to do, take this one and draw one line here and one line here. Tamam. So you can say the domain here, the domain here is minus infinity to minus 3. Remember, for minus 3 use the closed bracket, and for infinity you have open bracket. This one, and this is intersection. This means and from minus 2 for the minus 2 use the closed bracket, okay, and then positive infinity and use what? The open bracket. So this is the domain of this quadratic function. Minus infinity to minus 3 and minus 2 to positive infinity. If you give any value from this interval, the function exists. If you give any value between minus 3 to 2, the function never exists, right? So this is the domain of this one. Guys, I hope you understand. Now I'm going to give you 5 questions at least here. Then you will understand everything, right? Okay, just give me 1 minute. You can take break for 1 minute. See, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 questions. For example, I have fx is equal to under root, you can say x plus 3, x minus 1. Or you can say, or this is the same, is x square and minus x plus 3x plus 2x and minus 3, right? So minus 3 and this is plus 2. Or you can say I have another question, right? Fx, which is 2x minus 1 x plus 2, no problem. Or you can say this is what? 2x square 4x minus x plus 3x and minus 2, right? So you can say 2x square, this is 4x and minus x plus 3x, and this is minus 2. And third one we have, you can give any question of x is equal to x minus 3 x plus 5, or this can be written as is the we are going to write down the quadratic equation. It will be what? X square, and this is what? 5x minus 3, this is plus 2x and minus 15, right? I'm not going to try this one. You know, if the question is this one or this one, both are the same, because this is the 2 different linear factor of this quadratic equation. This is the 2 of this one and this is 2. Okay, so we have just these 3 questions. The question is find the domain. How will you find the domain of this linear this square root function which has a quadratic equation? So I'm going to solve here first. Answer here. Okay, so this is the answer number 1. Okay, as you know here, we have here, okay, and in each cases, whenever you have 2 different linear factors, it means the discriminant is always greater than 0, right? In each cases, this is always greater than 0. Why? Because whenever you have 2 different linear factors, it must be, means the value of the d will be always greater than 0. Okay, you can check by yourself. Okay, so what is the zeros here? This is minus 3. What is the zeros here? This is 1. This is minus 3. Take the opposite value first. This is x3. So this is minus 3 and this is what? 1. So minus 3 and 1. Where it will be in the square? In number line? Right? This one. So minus 3 will be, I think, this side. And 1 will be this side, right? After then what you have to do? Nothing. Just draw a line here. 1 this side and 1 this side. Normally. So the domain will be from minus n. This is it goes to where? Minus infinity, and this is what? Positive infinity. We can say minus infinity to minus 3. For the minus 3, use always the open bracket, and infinity use the open bracket. For minus 3, use the closed bracket. And this one from 1, you use the closed bracket to positive infinity. But remember, for the positive infinity, you have to use the open bracket. Okay. Second question. This is the domain of this one. Second, for example, here, what is the zeros? So you can say x is equal to what? 1 over 2. How? You can say 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. So 2x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 1 by 2. Right? And this 0 is what? X is equal to minus 2. So 1 by 2 means 0.5. Okay. So what is the answer here? NSWER. The answer here, you can say this is number line, and this is what? Minus 2 is here, and 0.5 will be here. So after then do one thing, one line, draw a curve here and one this direction always. So you can say the domain, this is what? Minus infinity. This is what? Positive infinity. So the domain is always minus infinity to minus 2. Use the close bracket here, open bracket. U means and 0.5, or you can say 1 by 2, it doesn't matter, to positive infinity. Use the open bracket. This is the domain of this one. In the same way, the last question we are going to solve here. What is the zeros? In the last question, you can see here x is equal to 3, and here x is equal to minus 5. And I'm going to find out the domain here. You can see, right? This is what? A real line. 3 will be here. Minus 5 must be here. And then draw this line this side and this side. So the domain, I'm going to write down here. D for domain must be from minus infinity to minus 5. But for this one, open bracket. For this one, close bracket. And union is and from 3, use the close bracket to positive infinity. This is the domain of question number 3. Okay, I think guys you all understand, and if you have a problem, just mention the comment, and then we have the time, we will reply you. And please watch the second lecture. I'm going to explain you how to find the domain of the square root functions. The square root has the quadratic equation, but type 2, where I will tell you when the value of a is less than 0, right? So please watch the second video. I hope all of you understand. Inshallah, meet you in the second lecture. Take care. Bye bye.